r/ask Reddit. What is the worst advice you've ever received in your life? My careers advisor in high school. When I said I think I want to do something with computers, she said, have you heard of Microsoft? Then she wrote Microsoft on a piece of paper and slid it across the table, and that was my careers interview over. I think I would like to work in film. Hollywood. Have you ever heard of Hollywood? Literally every film is made in Hollywood. You should go to Hollywood. Hollywood. Out of everything, this has to be the funniest one here, especially if you apply it to weirdly specific stuff. I think I want to do something with cars. Have you ever heard of Toyota? Then she wrote Toyota on a piece of paper and slid it across the table, and that was my career interview over. In fact, I expect to see this in a meta context later today. I think I want to do something with meta comments. Have you ever heard of Reddit? Then she wrote Reddit on a piece of paper and slid it across the table, and that was my career interview over. When I was little, I told my mom I was sad because some kids were bullying me. She said I should tell them that when they bullied me it hurt me inside, and they would stop. I did what she said. This was bad advice. They did not stop. I know someone who taught her 5-year-old to tell people, you're making me very angry. Yup, that worked out really well. Obviously you have to add, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry for that to work. Also helps if your eyes and veins begin to glow green and start bulging. When my daughter was an infant, my wife couldn't breastfeed and my daughter couldn't digest formula very well. So I had to buy a special pre-digested formula for like $25 can. I was at the cashier paying for the formula. The guy in front of me was gathering his things. He said to me, he says, when my kids were babies, I wish I knew what I know now. I was like, what's that? What do you know? He says, babies don't need formula. All they need is sugar water. All the rest is a scam. I was like, I'm so glad you didn't know that back then. Yeah, my brother had someone tell him that babies can start eating solids 2-3 weeks after birth. The co-worker who told him this has 2 children. My co-worker was bragging that he fed his month-old nephew chicken wings under the table and how he was going to be the cool uncle. After trying and failing to convey to him how utterly dangerous and stupid that was, my whole office was so distraught for the rest of the day. Stop reading. You read too much. You're going to hurt your eyes. Go watch TV for a while. My grandma, every time she visited, while grabbing the books from my hands, it was like something off The Simpsons. Matilda? Grandma got really scared when she saw he was reading something about Moby's dong. My grandma hated that I read so much too. She would stop me from reading and make me watch TV at night. Once when I was 11, she called my mom to tell her reading so much was making me depressed and unsociable, and it would probably stop me from knowing how to make friends, and that my mom should put a stop to it in front of me. I forgive her though, because she only had a 3rd grade education. Look at this cool new website. It's called Reddit. It's not addictive. Here, try this heroin as well. If you do it once, it's not bad. Your high school years will be the best ones of your life, so you better enjoy them while you can. If high school was the greatest time of my life, then I would have been better off killing myself then and there. Prom is the happiest night of your life. Why wouldn't you go? I mean, prom was fun, but I wouldn't say it's anywhere near the best night of my life, and I'm only 21. I would say so far the best nights of my life have been all my friends' 21st day parties, because we all get together, which doesn't happen very often anymore, and do stupid stuff and have fun. Some guy told me to kill myself on the internet once. Not just the internet. Every time I turn my Xbox on to play Call of Duty, some kid keeps telling me he ducked my mom and that I am of African American descent. When I was about 5-6 years old, I was given a Superman cape for my birthday. I was told that it could make me fly. After a few days of not being able to fly, I began asking people how to make it work. They advised that I needed to find somewhere high up to jump off of, so I started jumping off fences, trees. Then I was told I needed to jump something taller. Are you the blur that just flashed by my window? You know, son, there really is no such thing as cheating if you aren't married. The Bible doesn't recognize any relationship that isn't bound in the covenant of the Lord. So until you are married, relationships don't really exist. Thanks, Dad. You just indirectly explained why you're on your 3rd marriage. Had an uncle tell me that men could be allowed to fool around in relationships, as it was their impulse to have as many children as possible, and women. Well, look at a man other than your husband and your horse. I have some questionable family members. This wasn't me personally, but my mom told me that we had a neighbor that used to constantly tell my dad that life insurance was a waste of money and tried to convince him to stop paying for it. Fortunately, my dad was intelligent because he died 5 years later and my family would have been completely destroyed without it. There are different kinds of life insurance. Some people really have issues with whole life and say it's a bad investment. Either way, thank goodness your dad stuck with his plan. I'm so sorry for your loss and hope you're doing okay. Your family is the only thing that will ever be there for you, not your friends, your family. And I just got excommunicated from my narcissistic, abusive family 2 days before Thanksgiving. LOL, my dad tries to guilt trip me all the time using this. No man. The one person who's always been there for me is my best friend. You're just upset your kids don't love you. My high school guidance counselor said that I wasn't college material and I took her advice and started the process of joining the Marines with my friends, who were also told this. My chemistry teacher at the time scheduled a substitute, personally drove me to a nearby college, and sat there with me while I spoke with admissions. Fast forward a few years, after receiving a chemistry and chemical engineering dual degree and then going on to get a PhD in chemical engineering, I'd say that guidance counselor knew jack shit. TLDR, my guidance counselor said I wasn't college material, and was proven to be full of shit. I upvoted you, but it was for your chemistry teacher. What a great person. Honestly, find them and update them. They're probably wondering how it went. Don't go through chemotherapy. Eat the nut and berry mix instead. My younger sister, when she visited me in the hospital when I went for febrile neutropenia, no white blood cells, had fever. She also showed up claiming to have bronchitis and didn't wear a mask and full on hugged me. Yeah, she is a piece of work. Even knowing what I do now about what it would do to my reproductive health. Too long didn't read. Permanent menopause at 26. I'd still go with chemotherapy 1100%. I was going to die without it. With a 100% guarantee. I would be dead by the time I turned 27. My life is more important than my ability to have children the old-fashioned way. Added to clarify, I was diagnosed with diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, co-classified with bulky disease and was receiving chemo for it. The febrile neutropenia was a side effect of the treatment. Holistic people are the most fun, aren't they? This leaf from Tanzania will cure your life-threatening disease, and it's all natural. So is cyanide. You ever tried that? Great for preventing cancer. Do what you love and the money will come. I masturbated for years and no money came. But you did. My dad sat me down when I was in college and ran me through what my life would look like and my career opportunities if I chose the history degree I had been looking at. He had a very frank and brusque conversation with me. I chose accounting. Anything in any romantic comedy ever. Harass the woman you want with unwanted, over-the-top romantic gestures until she falls in love with you. Every Bollywood movie ever. They get more aggressive in the songs. Stop thinking about depression. There are more people who have greater problems than yours, not Vibber. It's like saying don't eat food when you're hungry because someone somewhere is starving. Don't be excited. Someone out there got married today. Mentioned in passing that my boyfriend suffered from a terrible Charlie horse in the middle of the night. My bizarre space cadet of a co-worker heard this and immediately interjected, frantically explaining that I needed to get him to a hospital because this was a surefire symptom of pregnancy. She also recommended that I call the news because my boyfriend is, well, a man. I guess she thought history was about to go down. Spoiler alert, he wasn't pregnant. LOL. Seriously? I believe you. But seriously? She also believed that cheese made outside of the United States wasn't really cheese. Her mindset on most issues was difficult to explain. My psychiatrist told me I could stop taking the SNRI antidepressants I was on more or less cold turkey. It was technically safe, but holy shit, it was a tough couple of weeks. Partly because of unpleasant physical sensations and partly because it was the closest to actual crazy I'd ever felt. Brain zap? It's like a shock that runs down your upper spine and makes you drop your coffee cup. Fun for everyone. Money can't buy happiness. Bullshit, it can't. Is it a guarantee? Of course not. But the only real sources of unhappiness in my life right now are financial. Paying medical bills, paying for school, making rent, etc. Otherwise I'm happy as a clam. Money itself doesn't buy you happiness, but a lack of it for your lifestyle needs and choices that you are at causes a hell of a lot of unhappiness. That may be, but I'd rather be miserable on a yacht in the South Pacific than miserable at work in the northwest of the UK. You shouldn't go to Japan if you don't know the language. I studied abroad and now work in Japan. Going to Japan without the language changed my life. It was a good learning experience, and you learn a language crazy fast when you need it every day. When I was in high school I had a friend who was not the smartest. I remember him telling me if I didn't want to get a woman pregnant, then she should be on top so the sperm can't flow up. He became a father his sophomore year. He must have been so confused. Top 10 questions science still can't answer. Be yourself. Pretend to be someone better and you'll probably become someone better. But do so in steps, otherwise, you get bad results. I don't think the advice be yourself is supposed to be about improving yourself. I think it's more about not being embarrassed to be different. I used to be ashamed of my rubber ducky collection because people would tell me it's weird. But after similar advice I now do what I love and don't care what other people think. Just don't fight back. Men act like that because they want to assert dominance. As soon as he realizes you've accepted his behavior, he will leave you alone. No, usually if he acts like this to begin with, it will only get worse if you are submissive. Given to me by a high school headmaster. You want to repeat your senior year? With your lousy marks? That's crazy. You could be out getting a laboring job, making $17,000 per year. Yep, base my life decisions on money. Ended up going on to uni, graduating with honors and then finishing a PhD. Should go back and take his job. Just listen to your academic advisor. They know what they're doing. Thousands of dollars added cost to education, an extra senior year, and a withdrawal on record. Seriously, don't be afraid to push back on your advisors if you're concerned about what they say or do. Ignore the bullies. You don't need to fight them, but standing up for yourself is far better than taking it, internalizing it and letting it hold you back. Don't make any friends. Friends will ruin your life. I haven't made any friends and I've ruined my own life just fine. Thank you very much. I have an open door policy, so don't hesitate to come see me if you have any issues at all. I learned the hard way to never trust any boss or HR rep that says that shit. Utilizing open door policies is a damn good way to get fired for being a troublemaker. Schedule all your college courses at 8 AM. Then you've got the rest of the day to relax. This works if you're a morning person. Afternoon classes were hell for me, but I loved having 8s. Just get over it. My mom, anytime I had any sort of emotional, mental, or bullying issue. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.